Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you have had an enjoyable and busy summer and that all of your businesses did extremely well. As you are aware, postseason baseball is right around the corner for the Brewers, and it feels like the perfect time to lean into a little baseball fun. Just like the team on the field, Turner PR has been pitching stories and knocking it out of the park for Milwaukee all year long. They've landed us coverage in major outlets across the globe, built connections with the right creators, and kept Milwaukee top of mind for travelers year round. Today, you're going to hear directly from the Turner PR team as they share how they pitch stories to national media, how they find creators who align with our destination, and a few simple practices that each of you can use to strengthen your own outreach. After that, Claire will step in to share how our team here in Milwaukee works with writers and influencers in market, and she'll offer practical strategies to help you build stronger relationships with local media. Tony Snell Rodriguez will lead off the webinar with how the Visit Milwaukee Foundation is working to uplift small businesses throughout the community. But before we jump into those presentations, let's take a look at how our hotels performed last month. August closed out another strong summer for the Milwaukee hotel community. And before I jump into the reports that you're seeing on the screen, I just want to share a little bit about our comp set. Out of 11 cities, our DMA, which consists of about 20,000 rooms throughout, in August, we were up 7% in rate, up 3.4% in ADR, and up 10.6% in RevPAR. The only other comp set cities with occupancy growth in the month of August were Indianapolis. They were at 1.1%, and St. Louis at 5.6%. Our RevPAR growth led the day, like I said, at 10.6, with the next closest being St. Louis at 7.4%. 5 out of our 11 comp cities lost RevPAR to last year. Now let's get into downtown occupancy. We finished occupancy at 76.5%, which was up 4 points over last year, with an average daily rate of just over $194. That lifted RevPAR to nearly $149, an increase of almost 12% year over year, with total revenue reaching $26.4 million. County's hotels also posted solid results with occupancy at 73.6%, and it's a gain of more than 7 points from last August. ADR rose to $151, while RevPAR climbed to $112, both up double digits. Demand grew nearly 9%, helping the county hotel revenue rise to almost $46 million, which was a 12% increase over last year. And just a reminder, we're comparing against RNC last year. So July showed an increase in occupancy, but we saw sharp declines in revenue and RevPAR and ADR due to the fact that we didn't have the RNC. But these kinds of results show the real strength of our hospitality community, and it wouldn't be possible without all of the businesses who work alongside us every day. And that makes this the perfect moment to recognize our new and returning partners. We're so glad to have you with us and appreciate the work you're doing to grow Milwaukee's story. And as we welcome new partners, it's also the perfect time to recognize the cultural celebrations that are happening in our community right now. September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to celebrate history, culture, and the contributions of Hispanic and Latino communities here in Milwaukee and across the country. Our city is filled with incredible Hispanic-owned businesses, restaurants, and cultural organizations that enrich the visitor experience and strengthen our community. We encourage you to support them this month and beyond as we honor everything that they bring to Milwaukee, and you can find those by scanning that QR code. In celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, MCTS rolled out a special bus on September 15th, honoring the culture and contributions of Milwaukee's Latino community. The design is traveling throughout the city as a rolling tribute during the month-long celebration. You should keep an eye out for it as you move throughout the city this month. A few weeks ago, construction officially kicked off on the new international terminal at Mitchell International Airport, and I was honored to be at the ribbon cutting. This project will expand capacity and create a welcoming space for travelers from across the globe. It's an exciting milestone that will strengthen Milwaukee's role as a true international getaway. South Shore Beach has officially reopened to swimmers after extensive work to improve water quality and shoreline conditions. This marks the first time in over a decade that the beach is back for public use, creating another place to enjoy Milwaukee's lakefront. And we've had the weather late into September to be able to enjoy that. Earlier this month, Glorioso's Italian Market was recognized as one of Yelp's top 25 international grocery stores in the country. Anyone who's walked through their doors knows why. The shelves full of authentic imports and recipes that have been part of Milwaukee's East Side for generations, myself included. Nothing like their roasted garlic sauce with those homemade meatballs on a Sunday family dinner. You should stop in, grab your favorites, and join us in celebrating this well-deserved honor. Cafe Hollander has officially reopened in the heart of the Wauwatosa Village after suffering devastating flood damage earlier this summer. This reopening is a celebration not only of the business but of the loyal patrons who rallied around it during the closure. Stop by soon and welcome Cafe Hollander back to the neighborhood. Southside Dining is back this week, and now's your opportunity to taste your way through some of the best restaurants on Milwaukee's South Side. Taking place now through October 4th, you can enjoy specials that highlight the neighborhood's rich food culture. Don't miss the chance to celebrate local chefs and enjoy a full week of delicious dining. Marcus Hotels and Resorts has announced the Mark Hotel, a brand new property that will expand their Milwaukee portfolio and offer more options for visitors. It represents another important investment in our city's hospitality landscape. And along with that exciting news, Marcus also unveiled a fresh new look at St. Kate with the opening of Studio Kitchen and Cocktails. The refreshed concept blends inventive dining and cocktails with the arts-focused environment of the hotel. Oscar's Frozen Custard has broken ground on a new restaurant in the town of Brookfield, set to open in early 2026. This location will take the place of the one that was lost to a fire earlier this year, marking a fresh chapter for a brand that has long been part of Milwaukee area's food scene. We're excited to welcome it when it reopens next year. Big things are happening at the corners of Brookfield, which continues to grow as a shopping and entertainment destination. Meat Eater celebrated its opening with giveaways and community events. Aloe launched its first Wisconsin store, and Evereve added to the mix with new fashion options. These openings gave visitors even more reason to check out the corners. Plan a visit soon and see what's new at Brookfield's destination for shopping and entertainment. Congratulations to Historic Milwaukee on another incredible Doors Open MKE. Thousands of residents and visitors had the chance to step inside more than 130 buildings and spaces across the city, from historic landmarks to hidden gems. Mark your calendar now to be part of next year's exploration of Milwaukee's most iconic spaces. We also want to congratulate our friends at the Wisconsin Center District on stepping into the national spotlight with CNBC's coverage of the Baird Center's sustainable features. The expanded convention center was highlighted for its commitment to energy efficiency and environmentally friendly design. Find it on the CNBC website and in last week's Weekly Insights email. Milwaukee Fashion Week wrapped up last week, bringing designers, models, and creatives from across the Midwest to Milwaukee to show off their talent. The week had everything from high fashion night at the Archive to a streetwear show at City Hall and even an exhibition at the Milwaukee Public Museum. Congratulations to the team for putting on another fantastic event that continues to grow every year. Flannel Fest returns to Boone and Crockett on October 11th, and if you've ever been, you know it's one of the most fun fall traditions in the city. The day is packed with live music, incredible cocktails, food trucks, and plenty of cozy fire pits right along the river. Throw on your favorite flannel and plan to make a day of it at this can't-miss Milwaukee party. As we mentioned at the top of the webinar, postseason baseball is on deck here in Milwaukee, and we're excited to congratulate the Brewers on winning their third consecutive division title. While we don't yet know who they'll face, tickets are already on sale for the divisional series. It's going to be an exciting October at American Family Field, so let's get your tickets today. We'd like to share our condolences on the passing of Ruth, the African savanna elephant at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Ruth came to the zoo in 2006 and was known for her spirited personality. She was beloved by her care team and visitors alike, and her memory will continue to bring joy to all who experienced her presence. I also want to take a moment to share a note from our friends at Underwood Events regarding Kelly Recker. Many of you know Kelly as a leader in Milwaukee's hospitality industry with decades of experience that have touched so many of us through her work, her trainings, and her collaborations. Her leadership, energy, and dedication have shaped the people and practices that make our community strong. Please keep the Recker family in your thoughts, and if you'd like to offer support, please consider donating to the GoFundMe in last week's Insights. Please continue to keep Kelly and her family close in your thoughts. Now, as we shift back to our updates, I'd like to share a few things that are happening here at Visit Milwaukee. Sales are underway for our official visitor's guide and city map, important tools for putting your business in front of visitors. Listings close October 17th for the map and November 13th for the guide. So now's the time to make sure you're included. You can secure your spot through the partner portal, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to Brian. On October 23rd, we're inviting you to join us at the Baird Center from 3 to 5:30 for Marketing to the Meeting Planner. Our client advisory board will be in town and they're going to share their insights on how you, as businesses, can stand out from the competition, bringing more traffic to your business and creating measurable results. Space is limited, so reserve your spot on the RSVP page of our website. On November 5th, the Milwaukee Talent Summit returns to the Italian Community Center from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. This year's program brings a new format with panels, TED-style talks, and table discussions covering 7 timely topics in a single day. You can reserve your spot also on the RSVP page of our website. We're going to close out our fall programming with our partner mixer on November 12th from 4:30 to 7 at the Belter Superstore. It's a chance to enjoy food, drinks, fun activations, and networking while getting a head start on holiday shopping at one of Milwaukee's culinary gems. Save your spot today on the RSVP page of our website. Finally, I want to remind you that our next webinar will take place on October 28th at 2 p.m. After another busy summer of travel, we're going to break down the season's top travel trends and what they mean for Milwaukee. We'll be joined by Tourism Economics to share their insights, so keep an eye on your inbox for the RSVP link and for more details. Also, don't forget, head out to the Henry Mayer Festival grounds this weekend because Oktoberfest has moved and will be there this weekend. So as we wrap up our updates today, I'd like to welcome to the screen Visit Milwaukee's Director of Community Engagement and Inclusion, Tony Snell Rodriguez, to share more about the Visit Milwaukee Foundation. Tony, take it away.
Thank you, Peggy, and hello, everyone. Thanks for letting me share a little bit about Visit Milwaukee's Foundation. We're a nonprofit that exists to support Milwaukee's hospitality community. The students who are tomorrow's leaders and the businesses that make our city such a great place to live, work, and visit. We do this in 2 ways. First, through our scholarship program. By working with schools like Concordia and MATC, we help students pursuing hospitality careers get the resources they need to succeed. Second, through our emergency relief fund, when businesses are hit by unexpected crises, like the recent flooding, we're there to help. Along with our partner Belter, we provide fast support so businesses can recover, reopen, and continue serving the community. And here's where you come in. You can support the foundation by joining us at events like the Christian Yelich Home Plate Charity Concert, which is awesome. I got to see the Goo Goo Dolls earlier this year, so we don't know what to expect next year. So keep tuned in. And the Greater Milwaukee Hospitality Open for all those golfing lovers, and much more happens there. It's an exciting event. Or by helping us connect students and businesses to resources. They're on our website, Wright. Just check out Visit Milwaukee's Foundation, and then you can find out more information so you can help connect students and businesses to the resources that are available. At the end of the day, it's about making sure hospitality in Milwaukee thrives, protecting it today and protecting and preparing it for the future. Thanks a lot. And Claire, who's coming up next?
Hi, thank you so much, Tony. Whoops, we have a video. No. Okay, this is awesome. Here I am. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just here to introduce the amazing Turner PR team, who we've been working with for about 2.5 years. They are doing our proactive, like tourism-related PR relations. So that means for leisure media, that means for meetings and convention media. They're going to tell you a little bit more about how they do that. So now please welcome Cody, Alex, and Natania.
Hi, everyone. I am Cody. I'll do a quick introduction. I'll let Natania and Alex go next. But I've been working with Visit Milwaukee for the past 2 years, have helped getting coverage in national media outlets like Forbes, Condé Nast, The Today Show. Before that, I have been working in public relations accounts, including food and beverage, health and wellness, consumer lifestyle, hospitality, sports, the entire gamut. And before that, I was a TV reporter working in Peoria, Illinois, and Tucson, Arizona. But I will hand it off to Natania.
Hey everyone, great to be here with you all today. I have the pleasure of working alongside both Visit Milwaukee and Travel Wisconsin, both with their PR and content creator efforts. Prior to working at Turner, I actually worked in biotech and healthcare PR, so I'm having a lot more fun in the tourism industry and excited to be here with you all today. And I'll hand it over to Alex.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Zoss. I'm a senior account executive at Turner. I've been here since May, but I've been in the PR industry for the past 7 years. And I specialize in media and client relations and support the Visit Milwaukee team with creative ideation and strategic planning and execution. So excited to be here and walk through some travel and media trends with you guys today.
Amazing. All right, let's start with diving into how to pitch national media effectively for destination and tourism public relations. So when we're working with Visit Milwaukee and any of our other clients here at Turner PR, we always are dealt with the challenge, how do you break through the noise and get national outlets to pay attention? So let's walk through the key steps from strategy to structure and crafting pitches that land. First, it's essential to understand this. National media doesn't cover destinations, they cover stories. So journalists at top tier outlets like Condé Nast Traveler, Travel and Leisure, Forbes Travel, or the New York Times are constantly asking what's new, what's next, or what's different. So your pitch must go beyond the, hey, you should come to Milwaukee, we're really cool. So here's what they actually respond to. Let's do timely openings or events, whether it's new luxury resorts, major festivals, seasonal story hooks like fall surfing in the Midwest or underrated fall foliage spots, exclusive or first lick experiences, or cultural trends, media trends, which Alex will touch on later, culinary angles, or community stories like how Black neighborhoods shaped America, which we were able to highlight Bronzeville and Milwaukee in National Geographic. So as a former TV journalist myself, as I mentioned, we start each morning in the newsroom during our assignment meetings, always asking, why now? Why this? Why that? You can head to the next slide. So let's start with the foundation, balancing national coverage with regional or fly drive market outreach. So national stories play a critical role in building broad awareness and credibility for a destination. They often reach aspirational travelers. So that's people who may not be booking now, but who will keep you in mind for future trips. So our pitching strategy is built around this dual approach. For national outlets, we highlight the destination's unique high-level tourism offerings. So what sets Milwaukee apart on the national stage? For regional media, we focus on accessible gateway angles, whether it's seasonal activities and events that make a destination a timely, easy choice. So this ensures we're not only reaching a broad audience, but also driving measurable results. Um, so let's also talk about Milwaukee's year-round event calendar, which is a tremendous asset in our media strategy. Milwaukee has a robust, diverse lineup of events that you all know of that provide a steady drumbeat of story opportunities throughout the year. So from large, well-known festivals to smaller niche cultural events, there's something for nearly every type of media outlet and audience. By proactively pitching those events, whether it's Summerfest or a unique ethical festival, we can give media fresh, timely angles that are naturally tied to what's happening in the city. This also keeps Milwaukee consistently in the media conversation, not just once a year, but throughout the calendar. Now, one of the most effective ways to raise the profile of the destination is through strategic placements and national roundups. Getting featured in listicles and curated travel recommendations alongside other high-profile U.S. destinations instantly boosts the perception and the credibility. So we maintain a priority outlet list, which you saw on the previous slide, with publications where we know these types of features run regularly and tailor our pitches accordingly, ensuring Milwaukee is consistently positioned among the best. So of course, the best pitch means nothing if the story isn't compelling. That's why we lean into proposed narratives. These are carefully crafted to highlight Milwaukee's authentic, place-specific stories. They focus on the city's unique tourism selling points, so from its cultural diversity and brewing heritage to the lakefront beauty and emerging culinary scene. These narratives cut through the clutter of a crowded travel and media landscape, helping Milwaukee stand out and resonate more deeply. So not just with the media, but with the audiences they reach. Looking ahead, we're already planning around several key events in 2026 that will serve as powerful media hooks. These include the new FPC live music venue, the opening of Moss Universal Park, and of course, America celebrating the 250th anniversary. So the most effective media strategy for a destination like Milwaukee blends broad national visibility with regional targeted storytelling. It leverages events and signature narratives to maintain the sustained interest year-round and aligns with future-looking tentpoles that will dominate national media coverage. With this approach, we're not just chasing headlines, we're building a brand and inspiring travel behavior. So who exactly do we pitch? We don't spray and pray. We tailor our media lists based on the outlet's audience, whether it's luxury, adventure, family travel. The journalist's beats. Not every traveler writes or covers the same angle, and past stories they've written before with themes or destinations that they're drawn to. So here at Turner, we have tools like Muckrack and Cision, but for those that don't have those, internet sleuthing is just as important. Whether you want to try LinkedIn and Twitter to do some research, don't be afraid to slide in someone's DMs, respectfully, of course. A pro tip, keep a top 10 media list of your dream national writers. Let's build genuine relationships over time, not just when you have something that you need to pitch. So if you're a dog person and you know the journalist that you love on your top 10 loves dogs, comment on that. If you know they love Portillo's and they live in New York City, it's a fun conversation starter. It helps you stand out from the hundreds of emails they're getting that are only talking shop. Ask them what their favorite menu item is. Don't be afraid to showcase your personality. So how do we craft a strong, newsworthy pitch? Let's talk structure. Here's a basic pitch formula that works. Subject line, let's keep it specific, short, and timely. When it comes to greeting and personalization, always address them by name and reference something they've written. So for example, hi Jenna, I loved your recent piece on hidden hot springs across the Midwest. Your style really brings the landscape to life. You understand, and the journalist knows that you actually read their work. So then with the hook and lead paragraph, get to the point right away. Don't bury your lead. Another example would be, I wanted to share an exclusive opportunity that might be a fit for your fall travel roundups. A new luxury glamping site launching on Milwaukee's lakefront. Supporting details right after. Get to the point. This is your why it matters section. Keep it tight. That's where you give the unique angles and how it fits into trends. Once again, Alex will touch on those, whether it's sustainable design or local partnerships. Then you address the timeliness. Why should they care? Is the grand opening. It goes with fall, winter travel tie-in, limited time experience. And then journalists love a visual asset. Photos and media kits, always make sure you can say that. And if you don't have those ready, you can say upon request. And call to action, end with a soft ask. Would you be interested in learning more or connecting with the founder for an interview? Happy to send images, story starters, or arrange a trip if you have the budget for it. The important part for this is keep the entire pitch under 200 words. Journalists are busy and they're getting hundreds and hundreds of emails, so make it easy for them to say yes. And guess what? If there's no answer, there's no problem with that. It's perfectly okay to send a friendly check-in, wait 4 to 5 business days. After that, it's okay to let it go, maybe find another journalist. If they're not interested now, it doesn't mean never. Let's keep nurturing those relationships. I mentioned earlier that we got a National Geographic piece that included Bronzeville, Milwaukee in there. It took a year from sending the journalist a pitch unrelated about that topic, but we continued to build up that relationship, got to know them, and then we became a source for them. And it's a lifetime relationship that we have now. And like I said, Bronzeville was in National Geographic. So to wrap this all up, let me leave you with some quick tips. Exclusivity wins. Offer first looks or scoops. Let's think visually. National media loves strong imagery. Don't overhype. Let's be credible and helpful, not salesy, which is make sure your email sounds very conversational. Also, don't be afraid to pitch outside traditional travel media. Lifestyle, wellness, food, and even tech outlets cover travel stories now. So reminder, national media wants fresh, relevant, well-packaged stories, not generic destination pitches. Lead with what's new, back it up with real value, and make it as easy as possible for journalists to say yes. That's how you turn a pitch into a placement and a destination into a must visit. And with that, I'll hand it over to Natania.
Thanks so much, Cody. Great tips in there. So I'll be talking through the process that we take when hosting influencers with Visit Milwaukee and with Travel Wisconsin. So hopefully you walk away with some tips for vetting and hosting content creators on your own, or knowing what kind of influencer we're bringing to highlight Milwaukee and what to expect on a visit. So, looking at the process from start to finish for how we approach hosting content creators within destinations, we always start by building out a list of creators who would be a great fit for the content we're looking to highlight. Some of the things that we look for when crafting this list include what their content looks like and whether it seems like it would be a natural fit for this particular campaign. Most importantly, where is their audience based? Can their audience drive to Milwaukee? Does their audience live near an airport that has a direct flight? Making sure we're having that content really target the right audience is the most important piece, especially at the price point that many of these creators come at. And then finally, we look at whether their audience is engaged with their content or not. We are able to see all of these analytics through a software called Creator IQ. However, there are free options that I would be happy to send your way if you're looking to vet content creators on your own. From there, once we're aligned with the client on which creator we would like to reach out to and potentially host, we craft a super personalized email that outlines the campaign and what is expected. We request their availability and whether they're interested in participating. We outline the travel requirements, and of course, we ask for their pricing for their deliverables. The thing to always keep in mind when asking for pricing is that you always can negotiate this pricing. Creators expect to get pushback, and it is absolutely worth it to try to create a better package at a lower price point. Once everything is approved from that end, we move forward with contracting the influencer. Having an influencer sign a contract is a truly essential piece of this process, which legitimizes your agreement. Mainly, it protects you and it makes sure that everyone is on the exact same page about what is being offered and what is expected from each party. Once that contract is signed, the itinerary process begins. This is a very collaborative process where we try to craft an itinerary that really aligns with both the destination's goals as well as the content creator's actual content so that the deliverables have the best chance of performing well. A lot of times it is helpful to get an influencer's input on what they think their audience will really resonate with. If we're hosting an influencer and we let you know that they're going to be stopping by your business, some things to think about could be, is there a really beautiful table that they can sit at in your restaurant? Is there something that they just have to order that is beautifully plated? Are you comfortable with them filming at your location? Which Instagram handle would you like them to tag? And will you please repost it on your story? All of that kind of stuff. And then finally, just if you have any interesting tidbits about your business that you think would be of interest to their followers, that is always great to share with them as well. During and after the trip, we always maintain really consistent communication with the content creators. We send reminders, we gather any feedback they have, and we ensure all of the content deadlines that we outlined in the contract are met. All of the content that they submit goes through an internal review, and we make sure that they are aligned with our content goals for the campaign, that everything is accurate, there's no typos, and then we share it with the client for final review. Once the content's live, we close the loop with a detailed post-campaign report that covers content, metrics, and audience feedback within 14 to 30 days. We'll look now at a recent campaign we did for the NFL draft. This is a campaign we're particularly proud of that took place last spring. Our goal was to not only showcase Green Bay as a world-class sports scene, but also to highlight other travel-worthy destinations nearby, specifically Milwaukee. We hosted 8 creators across 9 different accounts, and 7 of those creators spent time capturing content in Milwaukee. These creators were based out of Chicago, Las Vegas, Florida, and New York, which brought us a great mix of drive and flight market creators with a really sports-focused audience. Some of these creators included Public Pool Pod, Joey Cold Cuts, and Best State Food out of Chicago. Our goal with this campaign was to generate 1 million impressions through strategically selected creators, have posts reach a 1.85% engagement rate, which is the industry average, and drive additional content by encouraging creators to post beyond their contracted paid-for deliverables to capture authentic, real-time moments that would resonate with their followers. The results from this campaign was 4.6 million impressions and a 3.4% engagement rate, which is more than double what we were expecting, as well as 83 additional organic posts, which was triple the contracted deliverables that we had agreed upon. Some of the Milwaukee activities we had them attend was a Bucks playoff game, a tour of American Family Field, a brewery tour, a cooking class, and of course, eating at a ton of amazing restaurants. Overall, we feel that this is a really great case study in the power of capitalizing on a hugely popular event with the right creators who have the right audience, which resulted in getting triple the content that we paid for and exposing an audience already interested in sports or within driving distance from Milwaukee to learn about all the amazing things that the city has to offer alongside a national event taking place. And I'm always happy to answer any content creator questions you may have, so I can share my email as well. And I'll pass it off to Alex.
Thanks, Natania. I can dive into the 2025 travel and media trends now. So we'll start with travel trends. So with extensive expertise in travel, our team at Turner stays on top of the latest travel and industry trends and keeps them in mind when developing story angles throughout the year. Here are some of the current travel trends we're keeping in mind for Visit Milwaukee. So the first is domestic local trips. So domestic travel is on the rise, with more Americans opting for local getaways that are closer to home. Economic factors, including rising airfare costs, along with the desire for more flexible, meaningful travel experiences, are driving this preference. Road trips and short drive destinations are capturing a large share of the leisure market, offering lower costs, greater convenience, and the chance to discover hidden gems in travelers' own backyards. Expedia reports that U.S. travelers are favoring trips within a 4-hour travel radius. The next trend is accessible adventure travel. So in 2025, the U.S. accessible adventure travel market is experiencing significant growth, driven by increased demand for inclusive outdoor experiences and advancements in adaptive technologies. Additionally, the rise of soft travel emphasizes relaxed, mindful outdoor experiences, which aligns with the growing interest in accessible and inclusive adventure tourism. Next is downsizing and detour destination. Travelers are increasingly seeking smaller towns and off-the-beaten-path stops that offer authentic experiences and a slower pace. This highlights the consumer shift toward more intimate and meaningful travel experiences, aligning with the downsizing trend and the detour destination trend, which encourages travelers to explore nearby off-route towns. Next is noctourism. From stargazing to nocturnal animal experiences, moonlit paddling to elaborate nighttime festivals, there's been a significant rise in travelers wanting to extend their daily activities into the night and product being developed to meet this demand. According to a 2024 Skyscanner report, searches for nighttime tours and experiences increased by 37% year over year. Similarly, Google Trends data shows a steady uptick in searches for nighttime activities and things to do after dark over the past 2 summers. Lastly, transformational travel and indigenous connection. In 2025, travelers are seeking more than just a break. They want connection, perspective, and personal growth. Bookings.com notes that 68% of travelers want trips that transform their worldview, with demand especially high for Indigenous-led and cultural experiences rooted in authenticity. Next, we'll go to media trends. So it's been an explosive few years in the travel media industry, with continued changes expected as the lines of editorial and advertising are blurred. AI impacts staff roles, and reductions are made within traditional media outlets. Through personalized outreach, attendance of conferences, and positions within industry organizations, Turner remains in front of the changing media landscape as it evolves. First, we'll go into digital first mentality. So publishing houses continue to focus on digital first assets, with publishers increasing their presence on social media through e-newsletters and increasing their digital footprint into podcasts. Publications like Food and Wine and Travel and Leisure are allocating more budget to developing podcasts, with several, including Afar, diving into adding video to their podcast programming. Next is the rise in branded content. As competition for editorial coverage continues to heat up, branded content has emerged as a potential solution. It's also proving to be more powerful than traditional advertising strategies. As a result, the future of brand storytelling will likely be dominated by collaborations with diverse creators, creating omni-channel, screen-first content. Next is travel intel, harnessing AI. So there's a not so hidden fear among media that AI will be replacing their jobs. While AI is not likely to do this, at least not while it's in its infancy stage in 2025, there are efficiencies that publishing houses are beginning to explore. These include using AI to recreate host voices for their sponsored ads, archiving print content and updating it for current SEO needs, and using AI to assist in creating social media calendars, content, and itineraries. Next is freelancers are diversifying their income. With the changes in the publishing world and so many layoffs, there are more and more talented and experienced travel writers competing against each other for stories. Over the last few years, many writers expanded their focus by adding wellness, health, science and environment, and more into their repertoire, as well as selling their content offerings to brands. We're also seeing an increase in Substack subscriptions, where freelancers offer advice to PR professionals and marketers on pitching, press trips and itineraries, and more, all for the cost of a subscription. And lastly, an eye on diversity. Publications continue to work toward including diverse voices into their stories. Many outlets have specific DEI initiatives and goals to raise the voices of underrepresented populations. PR agencies like Turner are also ensuring that client strategies highlight BIPOC entrepreneurs within the destination and speak to diverse audiences through hosting opportunities with BIPOC writers and influencers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Turner folks. That was amazing. We can now shift over to so that's Turner on the front lines, bringing us these media, being super thoughtful and creative, and also then Milwaukee benefiting from the deep relationships that they've established over these years that would take us many more people and many more years to do ourselves. So once they hook them on, this is what happens. We can go in ours. Okay, so they will find someone that they think is going to tell the story we want told, is the right person, the timing works, and then kick it to us. Sometimes this is on a reactive level, which means sometimes we have a lot of time to plan the perfect press trip for this journalist or creator, and sometimes we have only a little bit of time, but we're still trying to knock it out of the park and provide the best experience possible. So they hand the baton to us. We say, yes, this person looks perfect. Let's go. What does that mean? It means we are first figuring out a little bit of the nitty gritty on who they are as a person. How do they like to travel? Any more that we can glean about the focus of their story, that means we can provide a much better, well-rounded experience in Milwaukee, show them the best possible thing, connect them with the best possible sources, and then ideally, we do all that. We provide the best possible swag gift, and then the coverage reflects all of those efforts. So these are a few of the things we're thinking through as we're putting all of that together. Again, sometimes we have a couple months to plan one of these trips. Sometimes it's a couple days. Sometimes it's less than that, but we don't ever really want to say no. if Turner's sending them to us, it's good coverage. And so it's how can we make this happen? It'll never really be, no, we can't. Go to the next slide. So by time we get them in market, we've prepared an itinerary. We've based on their needs, based on what we want to talk about, what we feel is the best story possible, what they feel is the best story possible. It's a little negotiation. And then we reach out to you, our partners. Please help us make this happen. Bring the story to life. Be that face that we need you to be. And then also, have we gotten them the accommodations they want? Their transportation is all lined up. The interviews that they might want to do, are we accommodating their visual needs? Do we have a list or whatever if they are bringing a photographer with them? I'll tell you one quick anecdote. We recently hosted a reporter named Wendy Gillette and her photographer for CBS National News. And she wanted to, we met her through Turner's pitching. And then we also had some FaceTime with her at a conference earlier in the year. She was interested in covering Milwaukee. And then we kept sending her pitches, and one of those that really landed was about our accessibility offerings. So we bring her and her photographer into town. Again, they write for CBS News, and they were going to do a broadcast story about Milwaukee, something with accessibility. We connect them with Damian Buckman, and we end up going to Bradford Beach with some help from our friends at the county parks and learning about why Bradford Beach is one of the most accessible beaches in the country. Well, in our PR brains, of course, we want them to have the best experience doing any one of these things. And when you're trying to show off a city's accessibility, it'd be great to show someone utilizing that, right? But this is television news. They weren't going to allow anything staged. Of course, they are there to report the news and paint a very authentic picture. So we couldn't really prearrange anything. It had to truly be organic. Well, when they get there to Bradford Beach with our crew, they end up meeting a gentleman who is on the beach, who is using the wheelchair ramp. And it was the first time he had been on any beach in 19 years. He had begun to use a wheelchair after a shooting nearly 2 decades before, and kind of thought his beach days were over after that. When he realized he could use this wheelchair ramp to get into the water, he was just overjoyed. Well, they happened to capture this moment and talk to him, and then that story ended up airing about a week and a half ago on 575 affiliate CBS stations across the country, delivering millions of eyeballs, all learning about Milwaukee's accessibility in a really, really beautiful way. So there's a lot that goes into that sort of thing, but there's also a little bit of magic that sometimes just happens when you're out in the field. When they are here, sometimes we are giving them a city tour. Oops, we can go back one, Chris. We're giving them a city tour. Sorry, the anecdote was off script, but that city tour could be a little bit of their own design, or it's Claire's greatest hits. It's really, again, showing them what they want to see, but also getting in history, culture, accolades, whatever neighborhood they're interested in or we think will fit best with the story. It'll be inclusive of that. Sometimes these are multiple hours, sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes we just walk through neighborhoods. We are always prepared to pivot. We have a certain amount of flexible, chill vibes on any given day, because you never know when they might change their mind. They might discover a new story they want to tell when you're halfway through the itinerary, and then you just have to make it happen. A tip that all of you could utilize is, again, having that flexibility and rolling with it when there is a change. Weather, of course, can always throw some curveballs at you, but then let's say we send them out on their own and something goes wrong or something unexpected happens. We're also always on call to problem solve in the moment or help them find a new place to eat or a new experience to try or an additional one to have that maybe they thought, oh, I didn't realize I didn't have or I would have time for this. Now I want to go somewhere else too. And then once they're gone, then the follow-up begins. Go to the next slide. As the Turner crew talked about, creators can be very similar. It's in the prep work. similar in hosting them in market. It's in the prep work where where it really differs, because you are doing a full-blown contract negotiation. And one of the best ways to approach that we've found is really like visualizing, looking at their content, looking at their most popular content. What kind of posts do you love that they create? And then translate that for your own business. So if Wisco Dive Bars was going to come to Milwaukee, what is like the perfect reel he could create for what we're trying to talk about for our bar or nightlife scene? Right? Envision that perfect thing, and then that can help you start to negotiate what kind of content you want to see them deliver through their own authentic experiences. But without that in mind, you open the door for maybe content that you're like, oh, well, I kind of didn't want that actually. Again, having partner buy-in helps us do all of these things. We always try to talk about the value of this so that you see it and can help us bring all of these things to life. And then once creators are in market, again, they're treated basically like journalists, but there is more of a focus on the visual and making sure they have those opportunities, making sure they have time to create the perfect shot. We had a press trip of Brazilian influencers earlier this year who came in for a big trade show in Chicago and then were brought up here. We had to build in extra time so they could set up all of their equipment, truly get the shots that they needed, get the angles they needed. And that just differs from a journalist who's maybe just there to do the tour and do a short interview. And then we review the content for a contracted deal. We'll review it before they post, approve it, and then just make sure they fulfilled everything on their end before we're paying them. Go in. Okay, so for your own businesses, I know so many of you get approached by influencers and creators all the time directly, not through us. So when you are on your own, we thought we'd just provide some tips to keep in mind as you're doing it. Again, be ready with the story. So they're coming to you because they already think you're interesting, but what is it that you want them to focus on? Is it something newsy? Is it your history, your backstory? Is it a major milestone? Hone that story early in the process and you'll get the best results. Keep those press ready materials on hand too, so that you are able to say, hey, this isn't just me spouting key dates in our company history off to you. Here's a sheet with all that info, or here's a website where you're going to find all of this. Consistency matters in the early stages, especially, and then also later when they are trying to write the story. So making sure all the info lines up across your press materials, your website, your social media accounts, even if it's addresses, hours, menu, that sort of thing. Establishing that mutual value, of course, is in the early stages. They want to work with you because they already think you're a cool brand. That's why they're approaching you. You are doing something right, or a lot of things right. That's what they see. You want to make sure that you are fully aware of the value they could bring to you. Is that audience worth your time and your precious dollars? Hospitality first. It is just bringing that hospitality heart that all of you have to each of these interactions. It is never not worth it to try and go above and beyond, to try to personalize the experience you're giving to them as much as humanly possible. For media, they typically want to show something that is available to the public. So while they often love special access and VIP treatment and all of that, the story they're going to write is the thing that the average Joe could do. So you want to balance the personalization, the special treatment, with the fact that they actually got to tell the story about what a traveler could do with your business. Staff awareness. Again, communicating to your front line. You might be writing that contract with the influencer, but you got to make sure that front desk person, that host, is ready to greet them and knows the drill and knows they might whip out a ring light during dinner, or require a little extra time or something like that to get the shot or the content or the story that they need. And so keeping that communication open and being proactive about it always helps. I mentioned personalization. They love it when it can be done. So it's always worth trying. And then finally, engage with their content, share it, and be as excited as you were in the beginning of the process to bring them in. Once it comes out, share it, share it, share it. Encourage your team to share it, put it in your newsletters. The better their content about you performs, the more likely they are to cover you again. And that includes traditional journalists too. The state of the media world these days is all traditional press are looking at their traffic numbers as well, and some are incentivized for those types of numbers. So when, I remember when we had that Vogue story come out pre-pandemic, it then became their most read story of that month. And because I think in part because so many Milwaukeeans were sharing it, but then that resulted in additional Vogue stories about us. The Chicago Tribune, it's very similar that way too, where a Milwaukee story does well, that means more Milwaukee stories. So it is always worth it to share. And then everyone is just realizing better value for the investment. I believe that was it for me. A final reminder that our team is an extension of your team, and we are here to help you with your PR strategy, your hosting, your media outreach, any of it, your list development. We're here to help. So please reach out to my team and we will get you what you need. And I'll toss it back to Peggy.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you to our partners at Turner PR for giving us such a great look at how Milwaukee is being represented on a national stage. Thank you to each of you for joining us today. We hope that you found today's conversation on how we share Milwaukee's story with the world valuable. Like Claire said, we are always here to help you. We are an extension of your team. So if there is something that you have a question about, feel free to reach out. I didn't have any specific questions in the chat, but I did want to share a message from Amtrak regarding accessibility. The intermodal station train platforms have hearing loop technology, which directs announcements to hearing assist devices, and that's the first in the US. So we're going to make sure we follow up with Crystal to make sure that's in all of our accessibility stuff. It's also always great to hear the experts, like the experts at Turner PR, tell us about what's hot in tourism trends and know that our team is already addressing those through programs that we have here. As a reminder, our next webinar is coming up on October 28th at 2 p.m. where we're again take a closer look at summer travel trends with tourism economics. So watch your inbox for the RSVP link. If you have any questions about today's webinar, please don't hesitate to reach out to our marketing coordinator, Chris Ammon. Thank you again for attending today's webinar and have a wonderful week, everyone.